And good evening again. Welcome to the One Take Livecast. I'm back, and tonight we're going to be joined by another day in art. And let me just invite him now. Yep, we're going to be joined by another spray. Just wait for him to accept. Just wait for Ryan to accept. There he is.
What's happening, brother?
Hey, what's happening? How are you doing?
All right, man, all right. How's yourself?
Oh, very good, very good. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to, yes, thank you very much. How's yourself, Jax, is it, yeah?
Yep, JAX.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jax. Thanks, man, brother.
Yeah, and Ryan.
Hello.
So, first of all, have you had a good weekend?
Yes, me and my daughter's 16th, it was on Friday, so we had a great weekend, we have, yeah. Yeah,
16.
we had a good weekend.
Oh, it's going to happen now, 16.
Nah, she's a good girl.
Yeah, yeah. Did you do any work this weekend, or did you just enjoy some time off?
Oh, yeah, I've had a quiet weekend. I got a job starting tomorrow. It all starts tomorrow. So I got a fresh job at a boxing gym in the morning. I start. So, yeah, it's a local one where I live. Is a place called Gwynfi, and it's the Gwynfi Boxing Club. I'm doing up there from tomorrow, I am. So,
The
I got a
Calzaghe
bit...
piece.
Sorry?
The Calzaghe piece.
No. It's logos of the gym, and it's something dedicated to the guy that used to run it. Sadly passed away now, so it's a bit of a dedication to him. It is the piece I do tomorrow.
Ah,
So yeah, it's up in the valleys.
is this your first time doing a boxing gym?
No, I've done gyms previously. I have, yeah. I've done, well, not well, yeah. I've done these boxing gyms previously. Yeah, I've done previously work like that. So, yeah, as I say, I'm looking forward to tomorrow as it's local, and also it's a relatively simple piece, so I feel comfortable doing it because my story basically is I haven't actually been doing graffiti that long. I've only been doing it just over a year and a half now, about. So it's still relatively new to me. I'm still learning every piece I do, and yeah, still relatively low. I'm 48 years old. I started about a year and a half ago, which is bizarre for the I know. Yeah, so it's relatively new to me, like other things in my life, once I get into something, I just become obsessed by it, basically, Jax, yeah. And the same with many other aspects of my life, like music and things like that, which I dare say we'll talk about in the next however long we're on.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna ask about that. So you only just started a year ago.
yeah, a year and a half about it was it, done my first ever piece. I basically was asked to do a local shop, a shutter door in the local shop, and the first time I ever sprayed in my life, apart from having a little go in my own garden, was doing a piece on a local shutter door. It was, so I really did just jump in at the deep end. I've always been an art enthusiast. I was drawing on paper with various acrylics and charcoals and things like that. So it was just a new. And then when I had to go doing it, I realised how hard it is to spray on walls or shutters or anything else. So yeah. So it was about a year and a half ago I actually first done my first one.
And what a year it's been. You've done so much.
You wouldn't believe it. It's been one of the craziest years of my 48 years. It's just gone from there to, you wouldn't believe it. I was luckily also to be involved in a BBC documentary, street art documentary, which aired on BBC One a few weeks ago. So, yeah, it's been crazy. You wouldn't believe it. I can't even explain how crazy this last year of my life has been. As I say, it's amazing. I can't believe it's happened, really. But I'm learning every time I do a piece. I'm just continuing to just try and meet other artists, discuss with them, because you can watch as many videos on YouTube as you want, but it's a totally different thing when you've got a can in your hand. So going and mixing and meeting other lads who are doing it. I've been doing it for a long time, some of the boys, and just picking their brains and just being, and I gotta be honest with everybody I've met so far in the graffiti circle, of the Welsh graffiti circle, if you want to call that, have been good as gold, have been really sound, not afraid to share their information, not holding anything back, telling me, you know what I mean, just everything. I've learned a million things just watching guys paint themselves, and I've been lucky enough to really catch and work alongside some really, really proper artists in the local area. So watching what they do and not being afraid to let them come and show me all my own pieces, just learning every single day, basically. I am, Jack. So,
Paul's
yeah.
one of them, aren't they? That's been helping.
I know I watched this afternoon, you wanted to do with Paul. Unfortunately, I've never met Paul. He seems like such a cool guy.
Yes,
And
he is.
he has, I can't even explain what I think. His work is absolutely amazing. Like, as I said, I'd love to meet up with the guy one day and have just a chat to him, watch him work, being whatever it is. He's a super cool dude, like.
Mm.
And his work is out of this world, I've got to be honest with you, phenomenal. And I go sing goes, so I don't know if I can do some name dropping, if that's cool.
Go for it.
Yeah, as I say, in the local area, a lot of boys. I was watching a fella, T2 Sugars, who's from the Merthyr area. I don't know if we know T2 Sugars. He's a popular boy around the Wales. He does a lot of YouTube videos. He's also gone up to Germany and works on real big names, Small Nova, etc. out there. And just watching him and being inspired by him. Also, his boys in Talbot, Sank and Bims, you know who you are, boys. They have been good as gold watching them. Not afraid, again, to show me things and not keeping anything back. They're willing to show me. You know, boys have been doing it a lot longer. I know they're younger than me. The twins, good as gold. And then you've got Steve Jenks, who's over Swansea, Llanelli, where he showed me a lot. He've also helped me, just generally helped me with, I was stuck for paint one time and I barely knew the guy, and he was offering me and said, look, if you're stuck, come on, I'll lend you paint. And, you know, it's a really cool circle. Everyone I met so far, including other boys, and as I say, boys from Barry I've met and all the rest, Jigs from Barry I've met, Sock and all the rest of it. And they're all so cool, all so kind, all are willing to share their knowledge. There's no great secret, you know what I mean? They've been really cool with me, like all them lads have. So a big shout out to all of them boys as well.
That's really cool. So you said you've always done art and stuff. So before you decided to do the graffiti art, did you ever get asked to like do drawings or paintings or anything?
No, not really, no. I've always just been purely just a thing I've done in the house. And I've always been, again, I know yourself, covered in tattoos, love tattoos, always been interested in doing flash, drawing in flash. Same here, brother, same here. Tattooed up to the max. As I say, I've been getting tattooed on and off for a long old time. I think it was 30 plus years ago I went and got my first tattoo. And it was a different scene back then. And this was pre a lot of the television. I can remember one of the first big ones was Miami Ink. I don't know if you remember that. And then you had London Ink, and then you had Miami Ink. LA Ink, Cat Von D and all that. This was pre all that coming on telly, and the only things at the time we really used to see was more, you'd have the tattoo magazines back then, because this was pre-internet, like. So you had the tattoo magazines, so you'd be looking at tattoo magazines, you know, all these American names and all the old school tattooists and all, like Chuck Sailor Jerry stuff. My name slips me, I got a million people I love. Philip Blue, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Philip Blue, another phenomenal tattooist from Switzerland.
Is that the guy who worked at Abracadabra that's retired now?
No. Philip Blue is a massive worldwide artist. I think he's based in Switzerland, and he's, check out, brother, Philip Blue, check out one of the videos of him on YouTube. It's amazing.
There's one I know that's quite legendary in the Los Angeles circuit. I've forgotten his name, but he's a pretty big deal. But I know the name of his studio, and it's Shamrock Tattoos. I just can't remember the name now.
You know exactly who on about. The guy who runs it is like a super cool, suave.
Yeah, and he's tattooed.
So bad with names. And it was actually the geezer you want about Shamrock Tattoo. There's some big names have gone through Shamrock Tattoo. Another one.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke, Johnny Depp.
Yeah, don't know what I mean. The main names. He was like the celebrity tattooist for a while, if you remember. Like, But I can remember, like, getting back to when I first started going to get tattoos. There was only one tattooist in each town, not like now where they're everywhere. And I can remember
There's a lot in Swansea. You see a tattooist or a hairdresser. There's tons of them.
Yeah, and even Cardiff. I went to Cardiff. Yeah. I'm walking through, and it's now quite hard to distinguish between barbers and tattooists for the looks of the shop, if you understand what I mean. They look very similar. Some of them, I think, are doing tattoos and haircuts and things like that.
Have you ever had a beard trim and a tattoo done on the same day?
Oh, in fact, I won't never trim my beard. I just do it myself in the house. And this is Yeah, but as I say, back in the day, can remember you would go in the shop and you would look, all the flash would be on the wall, and it would be a case of, oh, that one, can I have that one? But then number 16 or number 23 or whatever it is, and you'd pick
Oh,
the
that
number.
yeah, I kind of did that for my first one instead of really
Yeah,
think about it. But the rest of the
I wonder if you could remember them days, but it's changed so much in the last 10 years or whatever or more. It's majorly changed the tattoo scene now.
yeah,
Like, you notice a massive, but the work has improved, like from there to some of the pieces. Though some of the ones, the last ones I've had, it was by a fella in Neath called Taylor Williams. Shout out to Taylor. In new tattoo in Neath, he do work, and the work is, it's like, you know, it is like a picture, black and white, or black and grey as they call it. He does specialise in. His work is out of this world. His work is absolutely phenomenal. As I say, I haven't had them for a few years now. I just seem to go through these stages of.
I've
I'll
had
have
four recently in 1 week.
Have you? Well,
Yeah,
lately.
yeah, lately 4 in 1 week.
Oh, brutal, brutal. As I say, yeah, I've got a lot of big pieces where I've sat as well, a lot of big sessions. I sit there for 8 to 10 hour days, and they are just brutal. As I say, they really do struggle with the time. I've got a lot of it started off, like most people at the time, you have 1 year, you have one there, you have one there, and then you start getting sleeves, and then I was doing my legs, and then in the end, it's getting to the point where apart from my back and a few bits of the front, you start running up the room, like, I mean, but well, as I say, I've always said, by the time I go, I want to have a bodysuit to take with me, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping I will go long enough to fill it all in. Like,
Speaking about your work, one of the pieces you actually did some work for a friend of mine, Di Wistus, and you did you did Ramon's work in Kenfig Hill.
I didn't know you knew Di.
Yeah,
Ah, Di, me and Di go back to when we were teenagers. What a lovely, lovely fella. Real Di, yeah, really. I
yeah.
didn't realize
I
you
got
knew Di.
I got to know him through a longtime friend of mine who he is in a relationship with now.
What's Yvonne?
Yeah, Scottish girl, late
Yeah,
woman,
well,
Scottish woman.
on Facebook, and I've seen her because she's like posts, etc., etc. And you know, you hook up with people, you might not necessarily have met them, but you know, I kind of, you feel like you know her because you see her mentioning. She says stuff about my artwork, and obviously I comment them when I see dying photos, blah blah blah. So yeah, I know who you're talking about. Like,
How long did that take?
what the dies the Ramones one?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it took a day, and I went back the next day to do another, and that was a real early piece. I think that might have been like the second or third time I ever sprayed, believe it or not. Like, you know what I mean? And I've learned so much from them. So it's really hard. I can look back at those photos and cringe sometimes. Not that I think they're bad, but I just know how much better I can do now. And in fact, I'm offered Di lately to do. I really want to do Eddie from Iron Maiden a day, so you know what I'm talking about, man. There's a
Which
couple of pieces I would love to do for Di because he's a hardcore Iron Maiden fan. I don't know if you know that. Like,
oh yes. But which version of Eddie would you like to do?
there's one, and for Di in particular, I know the first gig that he ever went to was he went to see the World Slavery Tour Iron Maiden. And if you know Iron Maiden, that is a legendary tour with you. It came out on video live after death. I watched it as I wore the VHS out as a kid. So the actual tour program, the World Slavery Tour, has got an actual, it's got a mummy and he's kind of standing like that.
Oh, that's my favourite Eddie, Pharaoh Eddie.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. I'd love to do that one for him because of the relevance. Obviously, it was the first tour, and it would be a super cool piece, I think, to actually spray as well, you know. Because some of them, I was supposed to do Killers with somebody, but the offer is still there, but I'm still building myself up to something like that. The Killers LP is the one with the axe, I assume. It's such a... There we are. I'm talking to the man I am even going to explain to you. There we are. You know the score. As I say, Killers is such a detailed piece. It's a bit overwhelming to even start. It would have to be... And funny enough, it is on a massive scale. It's on a garden wall. So it's something I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to kind of build myself up to it. I am trying to that one, like... But
That's
yeah,
fair.
I get it back. Iron Maiden, one of my favourite, my biggest inspiration for art is probably heavy metal album covers. That was what I grew up with as a kid. You know, it is so iconic. Eddie from Iron Maiden, you know, Motorhead, I'm a massive, same as yourself, crazy Motorhead fan. I'm talking about that, Jax, talking about that. I got a whiskey and coke, yeah. Cheers, Lem, cheers, bud.
Oh, my favourite band.
Yeah, same, yeah. Do you ever get to see them, Jax?
I have seen them twice. Oh
Oh,
wait, no, 3 times. 3 times.
oh, and I've loved the band since I was a 11, 12 years old, fell in love with Motorhead, and only once I ever saw them.
I saw them both at Download and Sonisphere Festival, and I saw them playing with Alice Cooper and Joan Jett in Cardiff.
What did you do? I only saw them. I think it was one of the, funny enough, two little stories, but I saw them, I think it was in 2012. I think it was possibly one of the last times they ever did come to the UK. Anthrax was supporting them, and they were in Bristol, Coastal Hall.
Yeah.
Gigs I've ever been to, insane, one of the best bands. But we had tickets to go and see them. They were due to go on tour just before Len passed. A British tour was announced. We actually had tickets for the tour, and then he passed around the Christmas time. And I think the gig was something like in the February, and I still got the ticket upstairs. I have, weirdly, like the gig that never was.
Yeah, you've done a Motorhead piece on one of your works, haven't you?
Yeah, I done Waterhead. The first guy ever to ask to do that. And as I say, especially when it's something you want to do, you put so much more into it.
The detail's great.
Sorry?
The detail's great on it.
Oh, thank you, brother. That's awesome. As again, you know what I mean? It's a learning curve. I even look at that piece now and I see 100 mistakes. But, you know, it's just everyone, to a lot of people, what I realise is people look at it and they know they're not analysing every little aspect of it. They're looking at it as a full piece, whereas I'm looking at it, I'm looking at every single line, every little crease, every little thing. So, you know, as I say, every time I'm doing one, I feel I'm getting better. Some then will have little setbacks and, it's not as good, maybe you rushed in a bit much, but, you know, you're learning everyone you do. And as I say, working along on the other side of the boys definitely helps to see how they are doing it, because they can watch YouTube videos all day. It ain't like watching a guy doing it next to you and talking to him and all the rest of it, and the caps. There's so many aspects to it, like. Yeah, because the other day I was up in Grangetown doing a piece. You said it's not far from where you live, is it?
Yeah, you were round the corner. You did the daffodils?
Yeah, daffodils, daisies, sunflower, just a nature type of one. It was a butterfly, etc. Very popular.
I was walking back from the shop and I thought, oh, that's nice. And then when I was just, looking up your work again, I was like, hang on a minute.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere.
I know.
Yeah, man, I done that. It was a cool day. It was a nice day, but then I couldn't believe how quiet it was that area, the great stuff. I don't know why, because I'm a Valley boy. I just assumed Cardiff was going to be bouncing people. I hardly saw anybody all day. I was real quiet. It was. I couldn't believe how quiet. It was actually his day that Prince Charles comes, so we had the helicopter flying over all day. I don't know if I was what was keeping it quiet, but I couldn't believe how quiet an area it is, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah, it was a real chill. Like as I say, they're talking to a lot of people in the community and offers of drinks and all the rest of it. It was a really cool place to go, like. Yeah, I'm a Valley boy. See, Cardiff is the big city for me, Jax.
We're not that big.
No, it's not that big, but if you know where I live, it's big.
Yeah. You've also done some skate parks. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of an interesting story as well. And funny enough, it was the graffiti artist, T2 Sugars, who kind of hooked me up to that job. I think he was so busy at the time. He hooked me up and he said, look, there's a place that's not far from us. It's in the Rhondda, it was basically. You know, if you know the Rhondda Valley, like it was up over there. It's called Astrid. And it was involving South Wales Police, believe it or not. It was also involving like a youth services over there called YEPS, they called. I can't remember what it stands for. So they asked that they wanted the skate park and all of the aspects of the skate park, which is all the pieces under the ramps, all the side pieces, and a big water tank. So I went over, I had a look at it. I was agreed, yeah, cool, well happy to do it. But what the big thing they wanted to do was involve the local children, because they were having some issues over there with tagging, etc., and just kids making a mess. So what I think they were coming from was, if you involve the local children to help you do it and design it or spray it or whatever it is, that they might take a slight responsibility for it and not wreck it then, basically, because they did it. So the South Wales Police actually knew some of the older lads who were doing the majority of the tagging through one thing and another. We got in touch with these boys and I basically said to them on straight level, no authority figure, nothing. Look, boys, I've been told to do this. Would you like to come and help me? And we'll design it and whatever you think is cool. I got all those, teenagers, older than teenagers, some of them was like. They came, they few of them had a bit of experience anyway. So basically we designed it between us all, between the young kids having goals one day to then the older, to some of the ones who, what the police called the troublesome one, or whatever way you want to put it. So we involved all of them, and it went awesome. The kids were awesome. The older lads were sound as a pound, got on great with all of them. And as I said, I'm hoping now that that they will take responsibility and not ruin what, sometimes you gotta, some of these valleys are poor. There's a lot of places poor, but some of the valley communities really are poor. They got nothing there. So, these kids are bored, like, you know what I mean? So they're up to some mischief. And as I say, we're trying to redirect them to show them. And one of the boys in particular, right, I don't know if he's watching, great boy, he helped me do it, and he had some talent, like, you know what I mean? So I was saying to him, look, direct your energy into doing, because look, I'm 48 years old. A year ago, I had to go of it. And next thing, I'm going out and I'm spraying everywhere. I'm doing it illegally. So there's police, I'm standing next to me while I do it, like, you know what I mean? And, I'm hoping that I influenced him even a tiny bit to try and, you know what I mean, to, make something of it, because there's plenty of potential there, you know what I mean? And I've done a few things with, like, youth services. I've done workshops with kids, and as I say, they tend to be in the poorer areas that these things happen in the summer, and I really get a great pleasure out of, I don't know, I don't want to be so pretentious, but helping these kids to direct their artistic talent to doing something rather than just scribbling and making things look what in other people's eyes is rubbish. I might look at tags and think they're cool, you know what I mean, but not a lot of people don't, like, so I've really enjoyed that aspect of the graffiti part. Also, I've done a few jobs for charities and things like that, and that element of it, you know what I mean, it does say something in the soul, you know what I mean, you put your head in the pillow night and, and I'll believe in God and anything like that, but I can't be punching a bank for whatever, that's the way I just say it, like, you know what I mean, so yeah, cool, I love doing stuff like that as well. Not that everybody can phone me now and say, can you do stuff for free for a charity, but
What's the recent
stuff like that.
What's the recent piece you did for charity?
Well, I don't know if the BBC programme I don't know if I actually saw that when it was on TV. It was based in Port Talbot. There's been such a explosion of street art in Port Talbot. After the Banksy piece, which I assume you know about, Banksy turned up in Port Talbot to spray the garage. After the Banksy piece, there's been a massive explosion of street art. When we were doing that, I'm actually, right, there's a million stories you won't be. I'm actually a steelworker by trade. I've worked in the steelworks for 31 years, I have. So, Tata Steel, the piece that Banksy put in Port Talbot, I think, was basically, it's not beating around the bush. He was saying about the pollution in Port Talbot, how much of a polluted town it could be. So, Tata Steel, I don't want to even mention about where I think they were coming from with it. Because I'm a steelworker, they wanted me to do stuff that was in the steelworks. So actually I sprayed a big, huge water tank in the steelworks. I sprayed a shark on it. I don't know if you've ever seen that photo.
Yes.
A tank with a shark on it.
I like that.
And that was a charity. That was a charity piece. And funny enough, that exact same week, I also did a charity piece for Halo Construction, where all the money was then given to.
Was that the one with the pickaxe? No, that's a miner. That's
kind of men's shed, that was. I also done that. There's a thing for kind of men's shed. I don't know if you know men's sheds in a place that, they're very positive thing in the communities. So I done that. Big shout out to all the boys, no kind of men's shed. So I done that for them then as well. So yeah, I've done a few things like that, community based and things, if I can lend a hand where, you know what I mean, not everything is there, just commission and, you know what I mean, if you can give back to communities, and especially my local community, they've only got to ask half the time, like, and I'm there. But the Tata Steel one all came from the documentary that was being made. I was spraying, right, sorry, I'm going all over the shop, yeah. I sprayed a restaurant in Port Talbot, I did. It was for the Welsh rugby player Richard Ibbott has got a restaurant in Port Talbot. So I did a piece down there for him. Well, BBC contacted me and they asked me that, are you doing anything? And it was that week I was doing that piece. So BBC came down and filled me for the day doing this piece down in Port Talbot. So I done that. They then asked me, knowing then, finding out I was a steelworker, I think they thought this documentary is based in Port Talbot, it's about street art, and we suddenly on Bureau got a steelworker that's a street artist. So I think they thought this is a cool thing to really film. If we're going to be doing something in Port Talbot about street art, what better than a steelworker to do it as well, like. So they said to me, can we come in and film you doing your day job and work as part of the documentary to show the two different sides, blah, 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 blah. So I went back to work, told them the story. Look, somebody's interested in coming into work to film me. Well, when they found out, they were like, why don't you spray something in work and we'll film it? And the public relation part of it, as I say, a big company like Tartan are obviously going to use it to their benefit, which they did, which was great. You know what I mean? It has such a slating sometimes with the steelworks, you know what I mean? But it does put food in people's, so it's such a big
I might
part.
not I might not like the smell or anything, but at the end of the day, it's a
Right.
steelworks, and Newport, sorry, Port Talbot, big working class town, and the steel, whether you're in ironworks or steelworks, I mean that's what it was. It was a big industrial area, so as much as the smell is bad, well, that's the smell of grafting.
Yeah, yeah, I never really said like that, but yeah, it's true. You know what I mean? Without that steelworks being in Talbot, I wouldn't even like to imagine the impact they would have in that and even surrounding areas. Because we talk about it. Sometimes we say things like, "There's news agents who simply exist on boys calling after the newspaper and a bottle of milk in the morning." You know what I mean? There's so many thousand people in and out that works every day. Things like news agents, the impact they would have on the local community, I don't think anybody even could comprehend if it disappeared. Like. So anyway, but get back to it. So I done that piece then in the Steelworks, and I was a shark, and then getting back that was for the charity. So yeah, that's cool. And then the program Ed, it was actually a program that was national. It wasn't just BBC Wales; it was BBC national program. So
Is it on
but
iPlayer still?
it's still on iPlayer now. Still on
Send me the
iPlayer.
link at the end at the episode. Send me the link at the end of the
Yeah,
episode. I'll watch it.
it was actually the first episode. I'll send you a link later. Yeah. Who Needs Banksy was the name of the show. Anyway, it was. So it's really fascinating. Some great artists on it. Obviously, it's not about just myself. As I was
You've done a bit of work in the port. Not just that, but you've advertised a few things you did in, because there's a big, like you said, big Port Talbot art corner. And is that where you did the Frankenstein monster?
on it. Yeah, this place is called. It's in the place Type Park, which is just up the Talbot town. It's called Bridge Street. And me and a few other boys started. Well, I done a piece there first when we did our first show, let's say. Then we applied to the Highways Agency because nobody got rid of it. We applied to the Highway Agency and said to them, look, how about this big, the wall of the M4 basically is, Jax. Any chance that if we get an artist involved and a wall that's, I can't even explain, say it was an eighth of a mile long or whatever, within 10 days it was nearly full. It was so many artists came and sprayed on this wall, and it's phenomenal to see, like, because it's such a big, I call it the Bridge Street Gallery because it's pieces by all different people. The Frankenstein one being mine. Also, there was a Ghetto Blaster one I done there.
Oh, I love that.
The Ghetto Blaster, who saw that one, I done that one there.
I'm gonna have to visit this because I have another page I run called Skull Art and Geek Feety. So basically, what I do is, so when I'm wandering about or on my travels, if I see any pop culture or music art or arts with skulls on, I take pictures of it and I put it on my page to immortalize it, because some work I see sometimes gets graffitied over or painted over and everything.
Amazing. He just went at Talbot, been left alone. But as I say, I think as time goes on and more people discover it, the pieces will go over pieces. And
But
that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
It's the name of the game. It's the name of the game. Yeah, that's why you take your photos and be happy getting posed next to it, whatever it is.
No, my page is to immortalize the work. So even if the art is there today, gone tomorrow, my page is to keep it immortalized.
Yeah.
So when I I will be visiting Bridge Street one time to get some pictures of all the work.
You let me know, brother. You're going down there. I'll come and meet up with you. And,
I'll take pictures of it. I'll immortalize it on my page. There's no filters or anything. What you see is what you get in the picture, exactly how the artist does it. And if I know who the artist is, I tag them in the post. Where credit is where credit's due and everything. But
because it's actually a legal wall as well, everybody's willing to put their name forward. There's no issues there with that, because as you know, if it's illegal.
In Cardiff, I don't know, but if you walked out of Grangetown and walked where the railway bridge was and kept walking, there's a park called Seven Oaks, and there is a massive graffiti wall, and work gets painted over it all the time. Great work by a lot of artists, and it just gets it's there today, gone tomorrow. But I've taken some pictures of stuff I've seen, and I've kept it,
Yeah.
like I said, immortalized. But you should put your stamp on it as well.
Yeah, definitely up for that. Definitely, yeah. As I say, but as I say, it's nice that people are going out there and taking photos of these pieces too, because you know some of us when we spray, the last thing on our line at the end of it is getting good, cool photos. We're there, gone, and
Yeah.
then what are the photos I see of what other people have taken? It's like, look how cool that looks, man. You know what I mean?
Why did you do the skull piece you did?
The skull. That was my last piece of done. That was like last week I done that. Like, yeah, but last week I done that skull one. It was like about a week, 10 days ago, whatever it was. Up in
That was
locally,
nice.
garden. Yeah, it's one of the better ones I've done again. Just trying to do something different again. And I am a massive fan of skulls myself. I must have me count how many skulls I got. I got loads of skulls, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got like 13 of them.
Oh, I don't know how many I got. I got a few. It's hard to count. And you lose count to do, like, don't you? I see
Oh,
if I can quick. This is one of the big skulls. I don't know if I can get it on. I don't know if you can see that.
oh wow, that's really nice. That's
Yeah,
a that,
that's in there, but yeah, it's a big old skull, like, I mean, I got a few there, like, altogether, yeah.
yeah, it's one of my favorite aesthetics. I don't know why. I've just always had a thing for skulls.
And weirdly, this might lead into the next little conversation. I did mention it to you earlier. Let me put it like this: weird shit does fascinate me. Whether it's skulls, whether it's some dark stuff. No, I'm into it, but it's just an aspect of the human, whatever it
oddities.
is. Oddities, yeah, don't know what I mean? And I'm very much into like, I like the serial killers, like reading about it, and don't know what I mean? And I also like a lot of true crime stuff, and that will lead to some of the things that might show up here now if you're interested in seeing them.
Speaking of skulls or your artwork, have you got any pictures you want to show of some of your work that you've drawn or thing?
Funny enough, I've got drawing books here, not so much my tattoo stuff. My graffiti stuff can be mostly seen on my Instagram page, but I've got 1,000,001 pictures and drawings and things. I don't even think now.
Show any of it. It's not. I like. It's good to show art.
Yeah, some just generally weird shit. Like, I don't know if you can
Ooh,
see
that's nice. That's wow. That's really nice. That gives me a little bit of a H.G. Wells vibe.
Yeah, as I say, I can't even explain it to you what it is. It just came out of my head, man. It's just a
No, I like it. Sometimes things don't need explanation. You give it your own analyzation.
yeah. And as I say, there's definitely what I couldn't even explain to you what. Talking about skulls, so let me put it like don't quick. You might be a bit better to see these. Talking about skulls,
Oh, you did those?
yeah.
Wow. Wow, the eye. Amazing. Just wow, that's really
With the time, yeah. And as I say, there's just plain.
that is an album cover. That is an album cover. What other than the graffiti, I definitely think if you can do stuff like that, talk to like local bands that are in that stuff, and yeah, that I recommend you should do that as well.
Yeah, and as I say, pretty like dark, weird shit, like
Oh, nice.
yeah, just like I could go through it all day and just show you like some weird stuff, like.
Oh, is that the? Oh, I really like the Reaper there. Is that the Reaper?
Yeah, they're all in plastic covers, so we get a lot of light on it. Yeah.
Wow, that is a really nice Reaper there. And what I like is it's got a less is more vibe with the cloak and everything. So that's really nice.
Do you recognize that one?
Oh, I love that. Oh, I am a huge fan. Do you know that movie is 100 years old now?
Crazy. And funny enough, I watched the other day another weird little coincidence happened. The day I went to do the Frankenstein piece,
Hmm.
it was two different things I was going to do. It was still on the morning. Oh, should I do the Frankenstein one? Should I do the other one? I woke up, I put the computer on, Google, Mary Shelley's birthday. It was like, no one ever was like, well, there's my answer. I don't know what I mean. It's
Yeah,
happening. It's like, and after that, I watched the original Frankenstein movie as well. Oh, crazy, man. The
the
levels
movie's
over.
great. The movie's great, but the book is
Better.
fascinating.
Read it years and years ago. Let us
But
spell.
not Nosferatu. Oh, that is a lovely skull. But that Nosferatu piece. I mean, how you got it from? I mean, literally, how you got it bit to bit and everything. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised you haven't put that on your wall.
Yeah.
Seriously, get that frame. That is, even as a horror fan, but also just wow. That is.
Mate, you can have it. You can have it. I'd be happy. That'll be the reward of doing it today with me.
If I have that, I am framing that on my wall. I'm a huge.
I promise you can have that. Like, I got a million pieces in. Sometimes I think I would have to give it away because, you know what I mean? I stack in a book on top of a shelf then and nobody looks at it.
Yeah,
So,
honestly, I will have that. I will have that on my wall. That will go with my Dracula collection.
well, as you will, brother. Next time now, and we definitely hook up. If you come to Bridge Street one day, I'll meet you down there. We'll have a little look at the artwork or whatever.
Yeah, we can do like a live showing like the artwork you've done and like one-on-one sort of thing. I've been improving on my one-on-one live it, so definitely we'll arrange that and everything. But hit me up if you're in Cardiff as well, because that would be great. But that. Oh man, you know, when you were drawing it, can I say, do you like to have, when you're like drawing and stuff, do you like just to hear the sound of, I don't mean silence, but do you put music on or do you just like just get on with it?
I've got no like dead set way of doing it. You know what I mean? It always helps put something like Black Sabbath or something on when you're doing it to give you that vibe, right? You know what I mean? It's always going to help, like, but you know what I mean? Not necessarily. I might sit there on the quiet and draw sometimes. I might just do it, you know what I mean? There's no set hard and fast rule. There's nothing too deep about it. It's just sit there with pen and paper or charcoal or whatever and chill and just draw. Like, yeah, as I say, it's like, I wouldn't say it's too deep, like.
I think you should do you did so well with the Frankenstein monster piece and with that Nosferatu there. And because it is technically it's the 150th, oh, sorry, basically it's the 100th anniversary of Nosferatu. It's coming up to the 90th, I don't know, I think it's the 90th birthday of the original Dracula movie, and it's the 30th birthday of the Bram Stoker's Dracula film with Gary Oldman.
I have to believe it's that old, some of these things, like.
I think you should definitely do something, for that character as well, whether it be on Bridge Street or anything. You've definitely got to do a Dracula piece.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, as I say, you start getting not your own, your own style or whatever spraying, but one thing I really do love is that dark art, whichever way you want to say. You know what I mean? There's something about that little kid, they've always attracted me, like, you know what I mean?
I like any art, but my favourite famous art piece, I would say, and it's very gothic and dark, is the piece by, I can't even remember it now, but it's a piece by Francis Bacon, it is.
Man.
And it got featured in the Batman movie.
Yeah.
It's the one where it's like split or so. I can't remember what it's called, but the image, it's like two meat hooks on. Yeah. I love that. I think that's when someone asks me favorite famous painting in the world, it's that, it's really great for a Bacon piece.
I don't know if you've ever watched any of the Francis Bacon documentaries on YouTube, and he was a strange individual. I don't know what I mean. He had issues. You saw in his art, man. He was, you know what I mean? You look at that and knowing his story and everything that goes with it. Oh, it's bizarre.
I've also seen some really dark Rembrandt as well, so,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you look at, soldiers or stuff, I mean, I don't know, but it wasn't an original Rembrandt, but someone did a Rembrandt piece portrait of Vlad the Impaler, and it was majestic, but it's like, what that person did.
Yeah, definitely. And as I say, you can even now again going back then to heavy metal album cover art.
Oh God.
The guy who done the Motorhead covers, Joe Patagno, his name is. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He done a lot of the Motorhead covers. He done the iconic Snaggle stuff and he done a lot of black metal album covers.
Yeah.
There's so much, as I say, there's so much.
You seriously, I think with the skull work you just did there and thing, I think so any local bands, whether they do metal or data, I think you've got yourself basically your graffiti work is, I like it. And if you do this, I think you've got yourself set up.
Yeah, because you know what I mean, to do something you enjoy for, because as I say, it's all new to me, to do something you enjoy for a little bit, man, after working as a steel worker, shift work for 31 years, it's insane. Somebody's gonna come and say, you
You've
come and
gone
do
from graft to graffiti.
yeah. Exactly, exactly, yeah. So yeah, I love doing it. And as I say, things like our heavy metal album covers is right up my street.
Oh
This,
yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, Derek Riggs's work. Come on.
yeah, and obviously you're a metal fan, you're a long time metal fan yourself, I would assume, Jax.
Yeah, in fact, metal and rock. In fact, see the T-shirt I'm wearing.
Oh, was it? But it's backwards. What does it smile? What does it say?
It's AC/DC writing, but it
Yeah.
says Smeg.
Brilliant. So, and I did see as well. You were in a Bloodstock this year.
Oh man, I loved it. There were,
I was there.
yeah, I know. I was like, so if we're ever at a festival or anything, we definitely hit up and everything. Actually, I'll message you something. I'm part of something which I think you'll probably like to join, and it's a. I won't go into it now because that's out of time, but I'll give you all the details. But I think you'll like it.
Yeah, because I tell you a little weird one about Bloodstock. I did actually think about this. Like, there's actually an art gallery in Bloodstock. I've never
Oh
actually.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
and I did think, too, I wonder what it would be to possibly get in contact with people in Bloodstock. Can you imagine doing graffiti on all
yes.
side panels of the fences and everything like you see? Can you imagine over the weekend doing stuff on our end, people have a little go? I thought
Oh yeah.
that would be such a cool thing to do up there. Like,
Oh
do all
yeah.
heavy metal iconic stuff. It hasn't got, you know what I mean? Ain't doing daffodils up there, like. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. I think you should, but also I think like your drawings, you could sell them or put them up for, like you said, you do this charity stuff. So at charity auctions, being like at gigs that do charity auctions or charity bingo, or so I think you could sell some of your works as well. It's like like the skull work or the dark work in there, that'd be perfect for like, putting some money. Because like you said, you like to give to the community, showing this up. There you go. And you're saving space in the house as well.
yeah. Because as I say, what I showed you, but it was literally they just off the top of the bench. I haven't pulled them aside to show you. I've opened the book and they are just some of the first ones. I could show you probably 100 pictures of similar vein that I've done. So one day we could hook up. I just show you all my art. I got a million.
Oh yeah, that would
Yeah,
be really good.
it's not like, but there's a million things there. And as I say, going down there now, we're talking about weird stuff and Francis Bacon and bizarre stuff. As I say, I'm a fan as well of true crime. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the prisoner, Charles Bronson. I
Yes,
assume you have. Who was the fella that played him? Tom Hardy
Tom
played
Hardy.
him, yeah.
Well, my
Well,
wife loves him.
I started for a while reading a lot of his books and all that, and I was interested in it. And you know what I mean? Again, he was an artist as well, really bizarre for art to be coming from his brain. What's he gonna? And I've actually got this here. That's an actual drawing by him.
Is that the prison?
Yeah, they're all done in prison. The whole thing it's just a very bizarre card. And on the back of it, it's signed by himself. It is. If you look at the bottom, see a Chaz. It's all
Yeah.
backwards to see there, like. And I got also when I bought the book, it was this picture was in there. Now that's him when he was a young man. That's a true picture of him again, and it's signed at the top by him.
He looks so different because he's known for that bald head and iconic strongman mustache.
Then he wasn't even called Charles Bronson. He was still called Mickey Peterson. Because if you look at the
Yeah.
box, it says Mickey Peterson. It says, if you look, it actually says Mickey Peterson there. He was
Yeah.
sleeping on the
Listen.
And then if you look at the back of it, it says Broadmoor, 1982. See if we can focus. It's hard to focus. But on that back there, it actually says Broadmoor. So you sent that from Broadmoor, the mental institution, back in 1982, that photo. So some really, really bizarre stuff like I've collected over the years. Another one I got was this one here, which is another one that was really weird. I bought a book about the craze, and in the middle of the book was this sheet of paper. Now, I didn't think anything of it until I really had a good look. And it's a letter off Reggie Cray. Off one of the Cray brothers. It's a letter that he wrote
Weird.
from.
Another role Tom Hardy has played as well.
Margins play, which is really bizarre that we're talking about that. But the weird thing about this, when I bought it, it actually dated there, and the date was my birthday, the 19th of July. Which again is another weird coincidence. And on the front of the envelope, again, you won't be able to see in this. It actually says Wayland Prison, and when I read and studied, he was in Wayland Prison on the date that this letter was sent. So I have no reason to believe in any way why it would be fake, because they didn't even tell me that he was in the middle of the book. So I can only assume they knew him, or they were writing to him in jail. When I bought this book off eBay, I bought it, and I just came back and this letter was inside it, really bizarrely, like.
Mhm.
So yeah, over the years I've collected. And another one, Ryan from Howard Marks. I dare you say you know who Howard Marks is.
Yeah,
You
Mr.
know,
Nice,
is the Welsh folk hero, let's call him, like. So
Mr.
I've got
Nice.
little bizarre things like that in my collection that I've just gathered over the years, like. Yeah, so I got some very bizarre stuff, and again, leading to, I don't know what it is. I'm not a dark individual, I'm an happy guy and happy-go-lucky, but just weird shit like that just
No,
interests me.
I think I know a lot of people. They're the nicest people in the world, and they love listening to like true crime podcasts and serial killer documentaries. And it doesn't make you odd. I mean, it just come on, it's just preference, really. I mean, it's no different to watching horror movies.
No different. I say I just sometimes, because like some people, I don't think you will, just because I know you're from the same school that I am. We go to festivals and we metal, so kind of we don't find that stuff weird. But some people do, you know. So I do feel
I know,
sometimes.
but it's preference. I mean, some people, like art, for instance, they probably would rather go to a museum and see pieces done, of timepieces, when sometimes it's good to see the art on the street or the art in Independence. I mean, it's no different. I mean, okay, museums can be a little elitist and everything, but, with the programs they sort of have now, for younger upcoming artists, it's nice to see such a branch out and everything.
Yeah. I'm talking about dark art. You don't get any much darker art and things that were in the Bible. You look at some of the Bible, old Bible, and religious
Oh, yeah.
things. You don't get much darker than that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or what about, art they've done? I mean, yeah, and also some of the art they used to do for Greek and Roman myths and everything. They're practically naked and everything, So,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the 16th Chapel. There are some very majestic bits, but there are also very, very dark bits as well.
Yeah, so it all just leads into it. And as
But
I said,
basically, art is diverse. Art is multiple, and I think whatever stamp you want to leave on it, there you go. And okay, you're going to get criticized here and there by everything, but I think you should. I mean, you do art for fun. I mean, yes, you've done it for things, and okay, you're probably going to get a nitpicker here and there, but at the end of the day, why don't you pick up a spray paint can and do it?
yeah, and I gotta be honest, you know what I mean? Art is so objective, I know I haven't got the skills, like, and as I say, even like I don't look at Paul Walls, who I know he done the podcast, so I look at some of his stuff and just think, man, how does he do it? You know what I mean? But then I do the next one, and I'm not saying in any way I'm comparable to Paul because he's phenomenal, but you can see a little progression every time you do a piece, and you know what I mean? Nothing is going to stop me, and you're on the positive guy. I can't wait to do the next one, I can't wait to do the next one. And if anything, it influences me to see their pieces, because I think, oh, how did they do that?
I think artists, when they do their own work and they finished it, and I'm sure they're proud of it, but I think this is in any range, whether you've done a painting, whether you've done a drawing, whether you've done a mural or like you said, on paper, whatever. I think they look at it, and even though it's done, they don't think it's done. Like I said, the first critic is always yourself. Like, oh, did I, thing, and it's not finished, or you want to finish, but sometimes you've got to let it lie. But
You've got to let it lie.
so,
I've learned that the hard way. I've learned that the hard way. Sometimes you've got to, and sometimes you get to a stage, you keep going, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. You think, why did I stop? And I want to go.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't think we ever
you just know when, enjoy all the aspects, but know when to say when.
when to say when. Yeah, as I say, it's all a learning curve still to me at the moment. But I'm loving it. You know what I mean? It's so I'm so happy that I decided to do it. And get another thing quick I want to show you.
Please.
One of the pieces that the first ever graffiti time I ever saw graffiti, when I was a kid, I can remember remember the band Twisted Sister? They had an album out called Come Out and Play. I was into it at the time, whatever year, 1985, as a kid, you know what I mean? And this was on the back of that album cover. And
Oh, wow.
it's graffiti at the time. Obviously, it says Twisted Sister. I wish I could reverse it for you to see it. But that piece, even today, is still such a big influence on me. That was the piece, and I would stare at that as a kid for hours. that piece for there, that on the back of a Twisted Sister. And it's weird because I'm a massive hip hop fan. I'm into all music. I really like hip hop as well.
Paul
Particularly
loves hip hop. Paul
massive
is
fan.
a big hip hop guy.
Cool. The Big Daddy Kanes, the Rakim, and
Well, I like hip hop as well, and I like incorporate but especially when it comes to art and hip hop, there's so many. I mean, there's so many great hip hop albums with graffiti and thing art. But the thing that's always done it for me is the Wu-Tang logo.
I don't know. I mean, I've done that. I've sprayed it somewhere.
I see. I'm a big Wu-Tang fan, and I love how you can make the W so diverse. It could be this color, that color. You could turn it into thing. I love the Wu-Tang, and I loved your Wu-Tang work as well. And honestly, you bought the ruckus for that.
It was that. Like, I remember doing an ODB. It's only stencil one at the time. It was an early one when I was cutting stencils.
I mean, I could see all those guys looking at that, and they would all have because they're all individual, and you could see their reaction. I mean, obviously RZA would just look at it and go,
yeah.
Ghostface would just be like. But then, ODB or Method Man, he would just be like, he'd probably be like,
yeah.
And then got the bonus member, Red, and he'd be like,
what about Respect the Deck? What about those? Yeah, it's loads of them in it. Like,
that, you know what? But I did like the Wu-Tang Clan. So, but it's nice that you find music your biggest influencer, as well as Odyssey's biggest influence and inspiration. And all I can say is, keep up the good work, because honestly, we will definitely be seeing each other again, and we'll talk after this as well. But man, you got some ideas. Actually, you know what would be a good idea you could do? Now, do you remember? Quick note before we finish up here, right? Now, you remember the bat piece from Bram Stoker's Dracula? So it's like the gargoyle bat face with the water side. Imagine putting that on a wall at like an abandoned church or something.
I know the place to do it. As I say, maybe it was something we could do if we ever look up and we take a photos. Maybe we can do something on it.
So you could be working on it while I'm going live and do segments, snippets, and everything. But yeah, we'll definitely do something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's been absolutely great to talk to you on this show. I just wish we could do this episode longer, but time limit and everything.
Not the night to sleep, brother. So you give me a shout anytime. I got a million other things I pulled to show you, but we'll do it again. We will be, and I'll definitely have you back on the show. But hopefully, I can have you and Paul on the same episode. I would just love to talk to the guy, as I say, nothing but respect. Just
I mean, I'll definitely do an episode where I'm talking to artists of multivarious things, like I did with Art by Mr. J. Check him out as well.
I watched the film, as I say, once we spoke, and because when you first asked me about it, I was like, man, I'm not good enough to do this. And then
you just on the show, just be yourself.
Yeah, I said that, as I say, when you said that, I was like, right. And as I say, I know once I start, I'll have a whiskey or whatever, you know what I mean? Let me.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, man, yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely have you back on future, and drop me the link for the BBC Series 1, and I'll see you back on the show sometime soon. But keep up the good work. Oh, so you say something?
Yeah, and I promise you about the picture you saw.
I'm the day you give me that is the day we go and get it framed, and is the day so the day you give me that is the day we go and find a frame for it.
It would be a pleasure to give it to you, brother.
Yeah, I'd love it. Oh man, I could talk so much about that, but that's another episode for another time. But for now, keep up the good work. I'm wishing you nothing but the best, and have you back on the show soon.
Definitely, and the same with you, brother. You're doing amazing things. Peace.
Peace, man. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you, and good night.